Hello and welcome to another video. But this time it's not a secret screening, it wasn't a theatrical release, it's a Netflix movie, and it being the #1 movie on Netflix in the UK at the moment, I felt like it was only right to check it out and see what it's all about. It very much piqued my interest of it being sort of sci-fi, hinting at like monsters maybe, and some like maybe horror elements. So, recently I watched The Last House. The premise of The Last House is basically there's this, we're mostly following this family, which I'm guessing they live in like a cul-de-sac. There's reports on unusual weather on its way, like rain and stuff. When the rain comes, it then traps people inside their homes. This sort of acts like a barrier, which is a bit of an unusual mechanic to have. Maybe the first or second day, the family attempt to break the glass, like in windows, or they try to open garage doors, they try to open normal doors, and they are unsuccessful. The rain and the water are acting as a barrier around the house. Already there, I was like, this is a bit of a odd mechanic. I don't know why this is a thing. Usually, if I am trapped somewhere, you would try to look for every possible way of escape. The family don't really do this. They try to break some windows, they try to open doors, try to open the garage doors, and apparently the rain it can just stop all this. It can just stop your door from opening, it can mend windows, and you just can't escape. Never thought about maybe taking a door off the hinges and doing it that way. Or I don't know, even like if it was like mechanical stuff or like stuff with mechanics, then I understand. But they attempt to open like these old looking windows where it's just like it requires like a hatch, and apparently that doesn't do anything. Even like there's like a circular window in the attic, they can't open that for some reason. So they don't look for any possible escape. And upon discovering that, when they eventually get the floorboards off from the ground to find soil, they don't think, oh, we can just dig our way out. No, it never really crossed their mind. Never crossed their mind to dig their way out or to find an alternative escape route. No, they just stay in their house for years, it seems. It's established, although not completely. Like when it starts to rain, there's things that are lurking outside. Like you can't really make out what they are at first. It's like there's a sort of like water creatures or like octopi kind of creatures. Later on in the movie, they are like full-on octopi. They have tentacles. They're like almost not anthropomorphic, but they're just big. They're just big octopi, and they are on the hunt. It seems like it's at no point is there like any. Well, one of the kids in the movie, they say, oh, there's a thing outside, but it's nice. And it never really establishes of how it's nice. Like she traces her finger on the glass of the window, and the rain or the water droplets sort of follow. There's that's any sort of indication that there's any like some sort of supernatural thing happening with the rain. Like there is nothing else to indicate that these creatures are not hostile and they're just chilling and they just want to get along. Because if they weren't hostile, they wouldn't have trapped you in a bloody house to begin with. So yeah, that's the thing. And then that becomes a God, that becomes a thing later on. I'm just gonna flat out say it. It's like, when these monsters do eventually get into their house, it seems like they are hunting them, and they are doing everything they can to stop what they're doing to survive. Like this family, they would have water buckets being set up so they have water. They start growing food in their own home, through the soil in the under the house. When these creatures find it, it's like, all right, we're gonna add, I guess, they mix in the salt water with it because they come from the ocean. So they're mixing in the salt water, and that basically ruins their water and ruins their crops. So they're clearly wanting these people to not survive, and will do whatever they can to kill these humans. And not to mention, they are just straight up either hunting them in the house or just full on going at them. The family sort of come up with a plan to trap one of these octopi creatures, and the moment they have one trapped, and the dad says, open the door or I'm gonna kill you, even though the creature could just open the door and be like, and call out its friends as like, can you come kill these people? They're threatening to kill me. Doesn't really do that. But instead, the fact that dad shows it mercy, it unlocks the door and lets them out. They go out, and then they're surrounded by more of these octopi creatures. And the moment that they're about to strike, the one that was trapped comes out and does like a screech, indicating, no, do not hurt these humans. They have shown me mercy, so we shall show them mercy. The moment that happened, I rolled my eyes so hard. And it's just, I hate, it's a trope I really can't stand, when it's both the humans and these creatures have been hostile to each other. These humans are like, we're going to kill these things. The creatures have shown no indication of being friendly or wanting to communicate. It's basically been, we've trapped them in our homes and then we're going to kill them. There's been no other indication of, oh yeah, we're going to be friends. The moment they're like, oh no, these humans are actually nice, we should spare them. It's like, you could have done that to begin with. Why did you wait 5 years to then spare them? It is a truly baffling movie. So in order to survive, obviously they need meat. They have a dog called Cassidy, and they're a very sick dog because the dad is giving them medication. Once they get trapped inside the house, then they run out of medication for the dog. I knew this was going to happen, and the dad had to put the dog down, and I started sobbing because anytime a dog dies in a movie, to me, it's like, you're willing to go that far just to get a reaction from your audience. That brings down a point, in my opinion. I'm not going to give this movie any mercy because it decided to do this. I understand it's survival, they're running low on food, but don't kill the dog. Don't kill. I'd rather eat one of their kids. They got 2 of them. Eat one of the kids and then leave the dog. The dog stays. The dog stays. So the dad shoots the dog, then cuts it up, gets the meat, sticks it in the freezer, then sees another dog, like a stray dog outside, that would occasionally activate the lights from outside. The dad finds a way to set up a trap. The cap in the chimney falls out. The dad finds a way to hoist rope over like a bit of metal and strings up the trap and gets it over the roof into the backyard and waits for any animals to come by and trap them. Like, in the early stages, it's not very successful, but as the years go on, it becomes more successful. Like, they're actually catching animals and eating them. There's a really stupid thing that happens a lot later on in the movie where they trap a weasel or some ferret ferret or weasel, and they bring it in because obviously they need something to eat. The girl decides, oh, I'm gonna free this one, have it as like a pet. Of course, you have a wild animal. What's it gonna do? It's gonna bite you. And that's exactly what happens. The weasel bites the girl, gets an infection, then they have to go out their way to get antibiotics. So they tear off the toilet, and there's a tunnel that goes under into the sewer system. They make a plan to for the mum to go into the sewer and then go to one of the neighboring houses to get antibiotics. I don't know how the situation happened to begin with, because they've been doing the same thing for 5 fucking years, and they are well aware, we're catching these animals to eat them. They're not to be a pet. This girl should know better, but no, we have to have a plot device happen, so there's tension. It's easily avoidable tension, and it's kind of just common sense. Like, if you've been doing a certain thing for so many years, you're not going to break that and think, oh, I'm actually going to befriend this animal and I'm going to keep it. Like, of course the animal's going to fucking bite you. Stupid. When it gets to, or near to the end of the film, these creatures somehow, they can't get to this family, put up some sort of fight. They're like, okay, instead of us just coming in, we're going to drown you, basically. So with the barrier still around the house, whenever it rains, then the house starts filling up, apart from the garage, because there's like a sinkhole in it, I guess, or there's some sort of drainage to where the water doesn't get in there. House starts filling up, reach the attic, and this is when they set off the trap to trap one of the creatures. The hole in the garage just opens up and all the water comes out, so they don't drown. Yeah, they find the trapped creature and they show it mercy. Then the creature shows them mercy, and it's like, no, we're not going to kill you, we're going to be friends. As well, there seems to be, I don't know if I already touched upon this, but yeah, there's a mechanic. So whenever it rains, that's when the barrier is around the house, and that's usually when the creatures come out as well. But then once that rain breaks and there's like either daylight, or I don't know if it just rains at night, but just the rain, it's not just constant rain. Like, there are breaks in the rain, but for some reason the barrier is still effective even when it's rained. Make that make sense? It would make more sense for me if I was taking this concept and making it into a film where you use it as a sort of timer. It's raining, the barrier's up, then obviously you can't go out. You got to stay hidden from these creatures. Fair, that makes sense. When there is break in the rain, or it's daylight and there's no rain, then the barrier should not be effective, and they should be able to go outside, because everything is so, like, over the years have passed, all the foliage is overgrown, like everything's green and animals are coming back. Like, it should be a matter of survival when scavenging. They should be allowed to go out, and this is when they could start hunting and teaching the kids how to hunt, and checking weather for, like, looking at the weather and seeing any incoming rain, because they see rain, it's like, okay, we're on a time limit, so we got to do what we can and gather whatever resources we can, and then we got to go back. Of course, then you could use this mechanic to where they go out somewhere, like a mall maybe, or shopping, or a supermarket. It spontaneously starts to rain, it just comes out of nowhere, then they are trapped, and they have to hide, and these creatures are around, and they got to try and get away from these creatures. No, we're sort of just stuck in this one location. We're stuck at this house, and there is no break with anything. It's I don't mind films where it's just one location. There are many films where they do this successfully. Phone Booth is a really good example. Iron Lung is a really good example. There are so many movies where you're in a location, and you just got to work with it, and Like with a movie like this, and you want to, have this big universe, you got to expand on it and not just, have people wondering like, okay, well, what's going on then? And, we're not even fed any sort of information at all. Like there is no information at all why this happened or like why these creatures here or anything. Like there is absolutely nothing given. There's only one moment where the little girl has a book and it's like, oh, kraken, mermaids. What if this is what it is? But this isn't a factual thing. There is no evidence of this being a thing. That's the only information or any clue we've got. So it's a little frustrating when you're given a really cool concept and you have there's no expansion on it, there's no other knowledge on it, there's nothing on it. Most of it is just exposition, and then at the very end of the movie there's just an exposition dump of when the creatures let us go, we were allowed out in the world, but most people have died and the world is basically flooded and it's now more water. So when they go out, they take a neighbor's boat and they go out to sea. And I think it's Seattle, the city they live in, because there's the Tower Needle thing. I think it's Seattle. I don't know. It's some American city, but it's basically all underwater. And it's like, well, we could have explored this more. Like this, why are you showing this at the very end when this could have very well been explored? Like this would have been, if you just had the family in the house and things are tense, people are going hungry, there's tension and there's finding ways of survival. This would have been a really good first episode to a series. And you could have done like 10 episodes of this and stretched it out, added in lore and build your world on what's going on. But it's like there is none of that. The ending fell so flat on its face, and it's like I'd rather the movie just didn't have an ending at all. The way it just ended, it was just like, oh, the family are out at sea now. Okay, great. What then? Are there more creatures? Are there more creatures out there? Are there survivors? Or is there anything? I think there is a little tease at the end, like they're trying to make contact with people, and then on their end they hear a little crackle, which I'm guessing someone is trying to make contact, but that's all we're fucking given. And I don't know if that's a sequel bait or what, but it's a Netflix movie. I don't think it's going to get a sequel. I'll be very surprised if it gets a sequel. This one kind of sucked, and I was very excited to watch this one because I saw the trailer and I was like, ooh, it's got like spooky sci-fi stuff, maybe a bit of eldritch horror. You don't get any of that, and it's just you're stuck with this family, and you want to root for them, and you do kind of care, but I just didn't care enough, and I wanted more on this world that they're in, and we're just not given any of it. I think for that I am going to give this movie I was thinking of 5, but because they killed the dog, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. It's a below average. It really had my hopes up. I really wanted to enjoy this. Like the first act I thought was pretty good. I was, interested in what was going on. Then as it went on, it just fell so flat on its face. And I was very disappointed in this movie. It's on Netflix, so if you got nothing to watch, I mean, I don't even think I can recommend it. Like, I would say go watch something else, to be fair. Like, I don't recommend it, really, unless you really have nothing to watch at all and you've been interested in watching this. Then you're a human. You have free will. You do what you want. Like, that's pretty much it. Like, this one was so much of a bummer, but I'm really looking forward to later on in the week where I'm going to go see End of Oak Street, so I'm so hyped for that. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you all later. See ya!